Hello V-Fiends and Collectors, this is me, Daniel East 1000, back again with another Star Wars The Black Series figure review. And this is probably one of the most anticipated figures of the year. Certainly a contender of Figgy of the Year. I'm really lucky to have this in hand earlier than some people. Big thank you to the forces out there that have allowed this. It is none other than the Droideka. It is none other than the Destroyer Droid. Oh, yeah, right, because I don't have the packaging to show you, sadly, for this. Do stay with me, this isn't clickbait. I do have the figgy, I just don't have the box. That's fine, because I can talk about it here a little bit briefly. It's bigger than your standard Black Series box, because obviously it has to contain this chunky boy. So it's about 2 Black Series boxes deep. It has that beveled edge, lovely artwork of the character. Of course, it's window packaging. You've got Star Wars The Black Series at the top, name of the character, film that it appears in. It's all very standard stuff, and I'd imagine there's some legal garb on the back there and at the bottom, and there's also a bio. I will include the bio in the description down below for you to check out if you wanted to read that. Well, that's the packaging basically out the way done with, and I'm very relieved with that because this boy is a big boy. There's a lot to go into with him, so let's get on to a roll with him now.
Where are those Droidekas? Master, Destroyer! Shield generated! Stand up, let's go. They're no match for Droidekas.
So here we have the Droideka. Wow. This thing is chunky. What a chunky boy this is. And Hasbro have done a remarkable, dare I say exceptional job on this figure. The Droideka design is a very intricate design. It has a lot of moving parts, and it's really impressive that Hasbro's managed to encompass that within such a figure. Just having a look at some of the details, of course you've got the head there, which has the eye stalks, the neck as well of that. Quite thin, so I would be careful with it. There's a lot of points where I'm going to be saying that because it does feel quite fragilio in some places, particularly on these wires and cables that you will find all around this figure, particularly at the top there. The cannons, or blasters, look fantastic. Of course, you've got the carapace at the back there, with that iconic design. Very cool looking. Of course you've got the spine as well, and these shield generators, of which I believe are the canonical use of those, but just stunning stuff. And you've got those 3 legs as well, just holding up that big body. Straight off the bat I have to say this is worth the value for money. Granted, there are no accessories with this thing, and that for some may be a little bit disappointing, because really easily they could have included some blast effect accessories that you could put onto the blasters, even maybe half a bubble shield. But no, I say Hasbro have done a slap up job with this just in general. It doesn't need the additional accessories because the amount of ingenuity that they've put into this thing to give it its articulation, to give it its aesthetical look, is just amazing. Now, it does come with some flaws. Naturally, as I've mentioned, you could consider the lack of accessories one of those. But I would also say the potential fragility of it. Just in the joint here where the head can move, it's very loose just because it's on a very small joint. So it is worth bearing in mind, just be careful with that, particularly when you are moving this, because that part does move. And we'll get into all the articulation of that when we come to it. Just touching base on the articulation though, the joints in some areas are very loose, and I could see these prone to becoming even looser over time with use and play. So really this is going to be a figure that you're going to want to get in one sort of standard pose on display and kind of leave it. Although there is the ability to certainly pose it, that's there, and that's great, because I mean, again, this figure is packed with articulations in places I didn't even think Hasbro would even bother to put them. So just looking around, there's really not too much paint application going on, not too much weathering. I can't even fault them for that due to the amount of moving parts and pieces that they've had to sculpt to bring this figure to life and immortalise it in plastic form. Now, the iconic thing about the Destroyer Droid is the fact that it does fold up into a ball. You can do that to a point. It's not going to be 100% screen accurate, but it comes very, very close. Just because naturally some of the joints and movements, there's liberties within film that you can't really take when it comes to making a figure particularly as intricate as this. But you can get it as damn near close as to being a folded up ball as it appears in the film. But just touching base first in terms of how it's able to do that, we'll have a look at the articulation. So as I've mentioned, he has a ball joint in the head here. There's also a sliding function just near where the neck is, so you can push that in, and that's mainly for when it's in the rolled up ball mode. So if we just push that out again. The top of the head, it is also worth noting, it moves backwards, and that's more so for the ball mode. It can come unclipped from the attachment, but the old hot water and popping that socket into the joint, letting it cool, does fix that. But I try not to overexert it. Really though, when you push the head in, the whole body sort of moves as well, and that purpose is really there for the rolling ball mode. So yeah, there's a lot of moving parts in this general area. It's got swivel and hinges in the shoulder. There's also swivels in the biceps just here. Again, you want to be a little bit careful because of the cableage. It's got a ball jointed shoulder just here. It's got a hinge just here, but there's also a piston that moves as well as you move that. He also has a hinge in the blaster piece here, so you can't fully fold that up like so, and that's going to come in useful when you are folding up to be a ball, if you are to do that. And it's the same articulation in this arm. There's a hinge just at the top here, just so it can bend in and tuck in to its abdomen. There's also a hinge just at the lower part here, so again you can really tuck that in. These shield generator flaps do fold in and they do open up. Now on the front legs there's a hinge, so you can move them forward and back. There's a ball jointed hinge just here, so you can move the leg up and down, and then there's just a single hinge in the foot. On the back hind leg, it literally just moves up and down. There's no swivel on that, although there is a swivel just in the leg there. There's also a hinge in the leg as well. This figure is absolutely ram-packed with articulation, and you can really get this posed up in a variety of ways, and more namely in that ball mode, of which I will attempt for you now. So I have looked at source images online, and this is one of my only slight gripes about this figure. I think Hasbro could have included some instructions how to put it into the ball mode. As far as I'm aware, it doesn't come with them. So from what I can understand, if you move the head back like so, you fold the top part here like that, push the body in so that the chest area is in there. You kind of want the legs to be like this, facing forward, so everything's sort of facing forward. You fold the cannons up like so. You move this foot like that, and then these legs here will also fold up like so. They kind of want to tuck in like that. That's the closest that I've got it to look as its on-screen appearance. I could be completely wrong. Answers on a postcard to that. That's as close as I've been able to do it. I hope that was somewhat helpful, and if anyone does ever do an official how to transform this Destroyer Droid, I'll be sure to link it for the official way, I guess, to do that. But this is as close as I've been able to do it. I think that's fantastic. I think that's a fantastic representation, and Hasbro should be absolutely commended for this. The amount of time, work and effort that's gone into the design and R&D of this has been well worth the wait. This to me is what Black Series was all about. and is a demonstration of a high quality product. Yes, it could have come with some additional accessories, half of a shield or even a full shield, maybe some blast effect pieces, but at the end of the day, the amount of articulation this figure has, the amount of parts and moving parts I'll add to that, is just absolutely insane and incredible, and it is a must-have to add in your collection. I'll be really curious if we see any sort of redesigns of this in the future, because I'm fairly aware that in the Clone Wars there is a sniper version of the Destroyer droid, and that would be pretty cool to see. But certainly do not sleep on this one. I can see some people army building this. I'm even tempted to get another one just to have in the rolled up form mode. At the moment, this is sitting on my Republic Commando shelf because he won't really sit on my Separatist shelf, but he's found a nice home there. It's really nice to see more battle droids, more varied battle droids I would say, coming into the fray to pit against your clone troopers. So that pretty much does it for this review. Let me know what you guys think of this figure. Will you be getting it? Have you got it? Sound off. And all, this is me, Daniel East 1000, sign out. Thank you very much for watching.